Hey, just to continue with the Narcissist series, just if you're interested in narcissism, a very good friend of mine, he's an excellent therapist, long-time therapist, and someone I've learned a huge amount from. Jimmy Judge, he has a wonderful podcast if you're following podcasts, and he has lovely series on really goes into good detail about how to understand and recognize the narcissist in your life. So it's kind of similar to mine. Like I'm doing the management thing, but he does a lovely one on the actual narcissist in your family and stuff like that. And his podcast are the Twilight Conversations, and it's amazing. So if you want to check that out, he's well worth it. Very interesting, real down there guy, and tell him I sent you anyway. So just to skip off from part one of the narcissist talk there I'm just going to talk about the four types. So there's four types that we recognize of narcissists, and you might recognize these from your life, people in your job. So the first type is the grandiose narcissist. So these are people that are really extravagant, really up themselves, and you're nothing. You're just dirt on their shoe. And look at all the stuff I have. Look at my clothes. Look at my beautiful car. This kind of thing. And you are literally nothing. They just ignore you. And if it's a manager, then you are literally just scum. They don't even want to know you because they've achieved what they needed to achieve. Quite, undermining and belittling and under your shoe. Then you have the malignant narcissist, which is probably a fairly common narcissist. Interestingly, in the form we're talking about management and this kind of stuff, that narcissists are drawn to management. That's why I think it's an interesting topic to talk about. So I know for a fact it was when I was beginning training years ago in the ambulance service that we were basically on our first or second day. It was very, very early on. We literally were nothing. We were just people off the street, more or less. And one of the blokes in the room blew up, had a row because he said he wants to be a manager. This is before we even qualified any area. We weren't even close to qualifying at this stage. And he had a violent row, a violent outburst with another colleague because the colleague, in his opinion, had shown him up or made him look weak or something in front of one of the instructors. That there was a typical narcissist reaction, like the narcissistic injury. So somehow this lad slighted him and made him look weak in front of the instructor. And how dare you? I'm always to look strong and better than you and the best in the class and all this. So this is the striving that they have. They never just sit still and be one of everyone else. They always want to be over people in charge, over you, responsible for you, your boss. So those you kind of know these when you're moving up through the system with them. And he did become a manager, obviously, and yeah, true to form, he became a narcissistic manager. But the interesting thing is, so you have these you have these managers in this role, and they're all striving for management roles. And funnily, and they're all in this situation that they're using people to get up and get up and get up. But then when they get into the situation, they can't use because he's a narcissist after using everyone to get to him. He's a narcissist. They can't use each other anymore. So they have to get bigger gangs of underlings or minions, or what the very common term for the narcissist that uses people is they use their flying monkeys. And the reason they call them flying monkeys is actually quite interesting. If you think of the Wizard of Oz and the witch sending out flying monkeys, they'll do anything for them, and they'll take their side and they won't see any harm in them, and they'll never question what they're asked to do. And a lot of the time the flying monkeys, their minions, will take the blame. So if the manager is getting into trouble, the underling or the minion or the flying monkey will jump in and say it was their fault, because they'd throw themselves on the sword thinking that this will get them further in the good graces. What invariably happens then is the manager just goes, they are literally nothing to that manager. That manager is only using them for their own ego, for their own satisfaction. Once that person's gone, they're gone. They'll never stand up for them. They never give them another job. They never promote them. Never protect them. They're just done. And that's generally what they do. There's a huge wake of bodies in the path of a narcissist. So the malignant narcissist is usually the one in management, from my experience, who will get into who will get into a management position and basically walk over people to get what they want. Will bully, will shout, will intimidate, will threaten, will use anybody for any reason once they get what they want. And when they see the power slipping away, they do techniques like love bombing. So they'll start to go back and show, oh no, you're great, you're wonderful, I think you're fantastic. And it sucks people back in. What they call it is hoovering them up. They come back in. So we'll do a talk on how to deal with this in a situation at work, and working with managers and stuff like that in the next video or the one after that. I haven't really planned that far ahead. So that's your narcissist, and they can be quite damaging. They can really be very, very destructive, and that's a narcissist that if you were to take a sick day, for example, or something happened with your family, they would try to destroy you. They would say you're not good enough, you're not a good enough employee. Does this sound familiar? You're not a good enough employee. They might even say if you've only taken one sick day, your sick day is out of hand, it's ridiculous. And then if you show them my sick leave isn't out of hand, and you show them proof, actual verifiable proof, the truth, they will go off. How dare you tell me I'm lying? I'm going to show you, and this is this stuff. And I know I've certainly met that manager, and it's not just one manager, because as I say, these people are drawn into management. And in a company that I was in where there's a huge amount of management, there's a huge management, very top heavy management structure, they're all does every kind of manager, every kind of narcissist you can imagine in there. I'm not saying for 1 second they're all narcissists, but it is very top heavy, and there is a lot of narcissistic managers in there. And how they become managers is because they will do literally anything they're asked to do. They will be the most perfect, ideal candidate, and they will put themselves in this position, mold themselves whatever way you want, because all they want is that position. And once they're in there, they have no longer any use for you, and then they'll stop. They'll literally not do anything. And what they tend to do then is they will start to steal. They will steal other people's ideas and other people's work and put it off as their own. And this is to the managers now I'm talking. So that the people at the bottom won't see this. They may see something every now and again, but they won't see the how bad it is. And the managers in that circle will know what I'm talking about now if anyone's watching. There are them narcissistic managers who will steal your ideas and put it off as their own, and they will argue with you and tell you you're lying. This gaslighting that they will do this and make you feel stupid and that you're nothing, and they will put their stuff out there, and this is theirs now. They now own this, and they will ruin you, and they will use their supply of their monkeys for the narcissistic supply, which gives them their feed and makes them stronger and makes them think they're fantastic, and they'll use their flying monkeys to discredit you, and they'll send them out, and people will go out and say all sorts of horrible stuff about you. You're mad, you're psycho, you're whatever kind of thing. And this is how this stuff gets out, and that's what these managers do. They set this up. So yeah, that's your malignant. Very, very dangerous manager. Very dangerous person, but in a management position, very, very dangerous. Then you've a covert narcissist. These are not necessarily someone, they're not necessarily in a management position. They can be in a management. All these can be interwoven. They can slip from one to the next, obviously. But the covert narcissist is usually someone they've possibly tried to get into management in a position and they can't, for whatever reason. And they will put everything out as in, well, I am amazing. They just can't see. I did a fantastic interview. They go for the interview. They say, I did a fantastic interview. I was very, very good. I answered all the questions brilliantly. I even taught them a few things. But they just can't. They're just too stupid to recognise how amazing I am. And, they're all against me, and it's really not fair. And their flying monkeys that surround them will go, yeah, they don't appreciate how good you are. We'll stay with you. So they get the little boost from the flying monkeys with them at that moment. They don't necessarily have to move up into the position, and if they move up, they've reached as far as they can, and that's how far as they're going to go. The communal narcissist then, and I know these people, so I've met a malignant narcissist who can also be a covert narcissist and also a communal narcissist. So the communal narcissist is, and you'll recognise these three when I say this, someone in a big, say a voluntary organisation, charitable organisation, and everyone else is doing normal good work, and this one person is doing not only trying to get into all the photographs and telling everyone how great they are and how much effort they've done and what they've done for themselves. And I've, oh God, the amount of people, the amount of these I've met in my time. But they want to be always in the limelight. They want everyone to knows how brilliant they are. When there's awards, they may even put themselves forward for an award, to tell people how wonderful they are, and they'll keep always trying to be in the limelight. And what they're actually doing while they're doing this is obviously feeding the narcissistic need, getting narcissistic supply, but as well as that, they're using the people. So you'll find in these organizations that someone in a certain position who's using people to do the work, and they will claim the work as their own. Oh God, I was out all night last night and I was doing blah blah blah, and I just great, and everyone else is burnt out because they've done all the work and they're looking going, but you never left the car or you never left the house. We had to come back to you. And so those are the people. So charitable organizations, not all of them, but charitable organizations can have these people because they get a lot of attention, a lot of exposure, and these people are the ones to push themselves forward. And you'll know because they'll not say things like, I did this for the children, I did this for the charity. I think everyone in the charity deserves the same praise. They're the ones that will say, I've just done this for so many years, I'm an expert at this, and I love to do this, and I love what it gives me, and that kind of comment. So we'll continue this talk on narcissism in the next video. I hope that helped. Thank you.